I was like 8 or 9 years old, and I was like, literally, I said to myself, I have to be the man. I have to be the man, otherwise, for me and my mom, otherwise, that's it. This is over. I am in this situation. I want to get out of this situation. What is the most feasible way to get out of this situation? Okay, I need to earn some money. I genuinely think 70% of becoming a millionaire is just stop drinking, stop smoking pot. I don't care if you think it makes you creative, and get 9 hours of sleep a day. Like, that's 90% of it. I had the worst childhood and the best childhood at the same time. Grew up in Russia in a place called Dagestan. Moved to London when I was 4 years old. And my mom, so my biological father, whatever, alcoholic, abusive, thank God my mom, finally decided to get out of that situation. My mom met my stepdad, and, everything seemed to be going all well and fine. They tried living together, gave it a shot. He lived in London. So I had a very weird childhood where, like, I grew up in London and my stepdad was very wealthy, but by the age of around 7 or 8, we were basically like fully cut off. So it was a weird sort of like, almost like arrangement they had. My stepdad saved a lot of, money on taxes by being married. That worked strategically for him. He ended up relocating. And then from my mom's side, basically I got to go to private school. So I had this really weird childhood where, by the age I was 12, 13, 14, I was in private school, but, my mom was, I remember the amount of times it was kind of embarrassing. Like, I would get embarrassed. My mom was, you remember Harrods, right?
Yeah.
We've done a lot of shopping there the past few days. Like, my mom would work in the perfume section, working minimum wage. And, like, my friends' parents would see my mom a lot of times. They'd be like, why is your mom, like, working, like, in a department store, like, for minimum wage?
Yeah.
Right? They'd see her there. At times she was working Chelsea and Westminster Hospital as a receptionist. When things got really bad, we were on government benefits, which is kind of like welfare. So I had this really weird childhood where, like, my stepdad was just a very not nice person. Just very not nice person. So I had a weird thing where, like, when I moved out when I was 17 into my own place, that's why, like, I moved out when I was 17. It was like my biggest dream on earth. Like, it was the thing that meant more to me than anything else. Like, just getting out of that house, because it's just, like, not a very fun place for me in terms of memories. By the time I left, we hadn't had heating for 3 years, no warm water for 3 years. And when my stepdad found out when I was 15 that I was building a business, he cut off the Wi-Fi. So that's actually funny enough why, like, here in the UK, like, my phone plan is still with a company called 3, which, like, if you live in the UK, like, you kind of know, like, 3 is like, if you don't have a lot of money, you're on 3.
It's like Frontier.
It's like, it's just not the one, right? Okay. It's just a bit like ghetto chavvy, right? The reason is because back in, like, 2015, they had a deal where for, like, £24 a month, you could do unlimited hotspot. So I actually built my entire business off of hotspotting my phone so I could connect to my computer and work from home. I was going to private school, but I was like, me and my mom had literally nothing, right? So, and not only that, my mom had just been through such a, like, and she's the strongest person I know, just such a traumatic, like, time in life. So I think that shaped both of us as men, having, looking at our moms and being like, look, either we do something or this whole ship is sinking. And, like, that's a very weird feeling to have. I was like 8 or 9 years old, and I was like, literally, I said to myself, I have to be the man. I have to be the man, otherwise, for me and my mom, otherwise, that's it. This is over. And, like, having that realization at, like, such a young age
forces you to grow up really fast.
External motivation is a lot easier, but, I don't want people to sit here and go, oh, well, I had a picture perfect childhood. Like, I can't be successful. I think some of the best entrepreneurs on earth all had picture perfect, childhood. There's many, many very successful billionaires that had picture perfect childhood, yet they went on to achieve great things. So with that, it all comes from intrinsic motivation, which is a lot harder. Like, I don't know if you and I would have necessarily been like, oh, you know what I want to do at 14? I want to start a business. Maybe not, but it's definitely a lot more of a long shot than when you're like, okay, I am in this situation. I want to get out of this situation. What is the most feasible way to get out of this situation? Okay, I need to earn some money. What's the most feasible way to earn money? Okay, let me start my own business. So, intrinsic is far more powerful in my opinion. It's just a lot harder to come by. And you just do that for enough years, and you find a business model that isn't ridiculously hard, and, actually you're not setting yourself up to fail. And I think, and for some people it might take 24 months, for some people it might take 36 months, for some people it might take 10 years to find success in what they're doing, but like, what's your other option? If people want the best life, do this. Try to make, and by the way, I know this sounds so, I don't mean this to come across as demeaning to some people, because I get it from my situation. It's easy to be like, look, just make between 100 to 300K a year, and that's like the sweet spot. And I know for some people they're like, yeah, easier said than done. And in the same way, I could have a billionaire who's like, no, it's just super easy, just make like 100 million a year. And I'm like, yeah, but it's easy to say. So, I hope people don't take this the wrong way when I say it, but like, really between 100 to 300 a year, like that's the golden sweet spot.
Okay.
Because the thing is, you can afford good luxuries in life, but then you also have things to aspire to. You have things to look forward to. What people need to understand, most people want happiness. They don't actually want happiness. They want peace, right? Because the thing is, when you run a marathon, or you go to the gym, or you do anything difficult, you're not happy while it's going on. You have something after, which is called fulfillment, right? So people either want fulfillment or they want peace. So you can have fulfillment or peace. Sometimes you can have both, but it's a gray zone. So the thing is, I optimize for fulfillment in my life. Like, I'm very fulfilled with my life. I'm not necessarily happy. I'm not, because I believe you can only have what people believe to be happiness if you have peace. Most people don't realize that it doesn't matter if you're in that first class flight, or it doesn't matter if you're flying private, or you have this or you have that. It doesn't really matter, because at the end of the day, if you don't have peace in your life to enjoy it, because I have so much turbulence, which, by the way, I could, as you said, I could stop right now, or I could really scale back my businesses and this and that. But for me, instead, at this current phase of my life, I'm optimizing for fulfillment, not so much peace. And I could lower my sense of fulfillment, but for me, fulfillment comes from doing hard things and being proud of myself because I've done really hard things and I've really pushed myself. And that is in direct conflict of peace. So I'm putting peace to the side because I'm optimizing more for fulfillment right now. The life I live, 1 out of 10,000 of you will be able to accomplish. Like when I talk about how much money I've made, the fact that I made, honestly it's more, but I'll just stick with 25 just for the sake of it. The fact that I made 25-ish million by 22, I tell people, hey, I did this, but that's because I had such a unique set of experiences. I had such a difficult childhood that propelled me to do it. And furthermore, I don't have what you want in life, which is peace or happiness. So understand that I have to make sacrifices for certain aspects, for other areas of my life where I'm dialing things in more. I said, for me, I'm optimizing currently for fulfillment and not peace. So I do that blanket statement, hey, watch my videos, but 1 out of 100,000 of you will be able to accomplish what I've accomplished.
Yeah.
And as I said, what I've accomplished isn't necessarily aspirational. Now, I tell people that, that terms and condition, but look, if you want to make 100,000, as I said, I hope it doesn't come across as, unself-aware or whatever of normal day-to-day. But like, look, to make $100,000 a year in this current economy, the world we live in, it's just not, it's not that it's not hard, it's simple.